So, a very good evening, and thank you so much for attending this marvelous meet and greet occasion to meet our comrade Abderrahmane, who has been part of Global Sumud Flotilla and who has the experience of being abducted unlawfully from the international waters by the Israeli forces and who has the experience of sharing an Israeli cell with Tiago Avila. So today, thank you so much. We have to thank Jazz Cafe for giving us this space. And just a house announcement, you can order your drink and food from here. They have a menu. Anyone who wants a menu can ask for the menu. I can bring it to you. So until Abdurrahman enjoys his cup of tea.
I'm going to introduce him. Yes.
Instead of water, I drink coffee.
Good evening. On behalf of the Free Palestine Movement, it gives me pleasure to thank you all for attending today's meet and greet. We're going to listen to a very special person today. I think we've all grown up listening to stories of great warriors who saved the day. Whether it's Superman, whether it's Shrek, or Wonder Woman. But today we get to meet a real life hero, someone who epitomizes courage, bravery, empathy, and determination. A person who was not satisfied in being a keyboard warrior, like some of us, but decided to take action. In our midst, we have a freedom fighter who was part of the Global Sumud Flotilla. Let me introduce Abderrahmane Amajou. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. A Moroccan activist who participated in the major civilian-led maritime initiative aimed at breaking Israel's naval blockade of Gaza and delivering humanitarian aid. The flotilla, which launched on August 31st, represents a consolidation of global solidarity efforts and is named after the Arabic term sumud, symbolizing Palestinian resilience and steadfastness. Between October 1st and 3rd, 2025, all 42 boats were intercepted by Israel naval forces in international waters, resulting in the detention, or should we say kidnapping, of 462 participants. No aid reached Gaza, but the incident drew global condemnation for violating international maritime law. Today, we are privileged to listen to Abderrahmane Amajou and his real life experiences. He is now leading ActionAid Italy and is fully involved in humanitarian causes. Thank you for being here and sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tassi. Thank you so much to everyone for being here. I'm so happy to be here. I was not expecting to be in a conference. I thought it was just like a meeting with 5-6 friends, but very happy to meet all of you. And as Tassi was saying, I'm not absolutely a hero. I think you are the heroes, because without people striking the streets, we will never be able to go on the boat. And people on the streets, that they went, protest and shout for free Palestine, they gave us the power to go. And because we knew behind us there are a lot of women, a lot of men all around the world, that they were watching us, they were supporting us, and they were ready to do whatever it takes also to make us free. It's my first time in Sri Lanka. It's a beautiful country, beautiful people, amazing people. I'm used to travel a lot around the world. It's my passion. And I will say that Sri Lanka is in the top 3 now. I think really one of the best countries ever been so far. The friend speaks Italian also, so thank you. I will start to tell you why I decided to go, why I came up with this idea. So, the people that normally brings us the truth, what is happening in the situation, like the situation that we are all of us witnessing, are the journalists. And the journalists are the main target for Israel. Even more than Hamas, they hate more journalists because journalists can change the narrative, can bring up the real image what Israel is doing, and can tell us what is really happening. That's why no international journalist is allowed to go to Gaza, and all the journalists, Palestinian journalists, are real target for Israel. In the war of Vietnam, 20 years war, US and Vietnam, in 20 years, 69 journalists get killed. In the war between Russia and Ukraine, 11 journalists get killed. In the war against Palestinian people, 265 Palestinian journalists get killed. Because they are the one that can open our hearts, they can open our eyes and tell us what is happening. And it's incredible that the journalists in Gaza, normally they wear a jacket which is written press. In the military, when they say press, they say, okay, we don't shoot. In Gaza, it's the opposite. If you have the press, they follow you. That's why many journalists of Al Jazeera, they have to take off when the military are there because they know they are target. And when I was in these last 2 years with my friends, when you are traveling, you are sharing happy moments where you are maybe drink a coffee, you want to make a selfie. All the time you open Instagram and you see the scene Eye on Palestine Instagram profile that change your mood. Maybe you are happy, 2 seconds later you are sad. You are happy with friends and you start crying by the picture and video that you are watching. This affects our psychology a lot, affects our mood a lot, and this is also a good sign because that means our hearts are still alive. They are still empathizing with people struggling, and they are not like many people are. They just turn around. They don't want to watch. My dad is an imam in the mosque in Italy, and since I'm young, he always told me that if I see it's also hadith. If you see something bad, and just try to change it with your hands. If you can't change it with your hands, speak up, say something. Don't be silent. Even if you can't say something because maybe you live under dictatorship, at least tell to your heart that this is unfair because your heart should not used to see injustice and consider it normal. So you always have to tell yourself, this is unjust, this is unjust. To be ready when the time becomes better to change things. This is the reason. Another reason why we start planning to go, it's because in Gaza in these 3 years, 150,000 tons of bombs get used against the Palestinian people. It's the same amount. It's 8 times of Hiroshima Nagasaki atomic bomb. 8 times more than what happened to Japanese people by the US. Also because one of the great people that struggled for the freedom was Nelson Mandela, and he was saying, if our freedom it's incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinian people. That's why we go to work, we go to school, we live our life, but actually we are not really free when we see Palestinian people oppressed, when we see all other communities around the world oppressed, Sudan, Congo, and South America. When other community people are oppressed, we are not free. Our freedom is never complete. And already in 1948, Albert Einstein sent a letter to New York Times saying that the way that Israel was created reminded him the same system of the Nazi. The way that Israel was created in the Nakba in 1948, when Sri Lanka, I think, gets the freedom, the independence from United Kingdom. United Kingdom were supporting the colonization of the Palestinian land in the same year. And that was the day of catastrophe. Remember, people, they remember. Like 700,000 people, Palestinian people, get kicked out from their houses, and many of them get killed. Can you just believe? Now we can see what is happening on Instagram, and they are not shy to show what they are doing. Think what happened in 1948. What atrocity happened that we don't know, we didn't see. And this behavior of Israel never changed. Some weeks ago in the parliament, the Knesset, they even approved the annexion of the West Bank. They want to get everything. We don't care about Gaza, we care about Ramallah, we care about Beit Lahem, we care about everything. All the lands will belong to Israel. This is what the ministers are saying. And last week, they even approved death penalty against Palestinian people in the prison. So this is what we are watching every day. And we did a lot of protests in Italy and Europe. We did a lot of calls to our government to do something, to sanction Israel, but they never heard us. They didn't listen to us because the power of the Israeli lobby also in Europe is very strong, it's very powerful. And so when I see in the internet, Global Sumud Flotilla website, that they were collecting people to travel to Gaza. And I thought, okay, maybe this can be really a good chance to change the narrative, to open more and more the discussion about Palestinian people, and also to call the attention of our politicians, European politicians, Western politicians especially. And I talked to my son. I went to my son and I told him, look, there is the chance that I will go to Gaza, and will be a trip that will take like 1 month, and I will be back. And then he said, Dad, I want to come with you. I want to join the flotilla. And then I said, no, you can't join. You're too young. It's too difficult to go there. And then he told me that if there is even a small risk that you will get injured or hurt, please don't go. I said, inshallah, nothing will happen. But another conversation I had with my parents. With my parents, the conversation was a real conversation because we know with who we are talking about. We are talking about Israel. So the risk that they can kill someone and say, oh, it was a mistake, was something real. So I told my parents, and with my parents, we say goodbye in Islamic way, like see you to God. Inshallah, you will be shaheed for this action you are doing. And they accepted me to go. They accepted me to go, even if we say goodbye crying somehow. Alhamdulillah, I was so happy for this. And then we start planning to set sail from Sicily. We were 48 boats, full of people, full of all around the world, more than 480 people, young. The youngest was in my boat. She was 18 years old. She was just become 18 years old. And the oldest one was an Italian man. He was like almost 80 years old. So the gap in the age was huge, and people from different background, also political background, organizations, students, doctors, people that they represent humanity. They were in this boat, and that was really impactful. Even if we didn't get to Gaza, the mission was so impactful, at least in Italian, in our country, and also at the European level. Malcolm X, I don't know if someone knows Malcolm X. It's a great man who struggled to free the Afro-Americans in the United States. And he was saying that a sad person will cry sitting on the couch and will cry on his own condition. A sad person. But an angry person will the one who stands and try to change. And these 48 people, we were all upset and angry for the situation was happening in Gaza. And we really stand with anger to say, this is enough. We will go there. We will go there. We collect a lot of food. We collect a lot of medicines. And then we start sailing on the Mediterranean Sea until we get to Greece. We were close to Greece. Was the night of 23rd September. and we start seeing uh, the drones, many drones approaching. So what is this? After we realized they were drones, boom, the first bomb, close to the boats. They were so powerful, really so powerful that the boats, four of the boats, get destroyed. They could not set sail anymore, and they were so powerful. At the end, were 15 huge explosions. But the kind of bomb they used were not to kill. Of course, they could have killed if someone was close to the bomb, but they wanted to scare us. They wanted to make us to stop the mission. But we know they will have bombed us, but we will never expect that will happen so close to European lands. They they came very close to Italy, very close to Greece, and with their total immunity, they start bombing. We were expecting they would bomb us close to Gaza or maybe very close when we go close to Egypt, but we never expect they will attack us almost in Greece, in Greek water. That's what happened, and we understand that even the command, all their strategy started from Italy, from Sicily, because as soon we landed in Sicily to prepare our boats to set sail, a military Israeli plan came to Italy, landed in Sicily in the NATO base, and from that starts managing everything. Most likely, even the attack on Tunisia was managed from Italy. So Italian government knows. Italian government has a huge responsibility for what happened and what is doing Israel. So after they bombed us, we start a discussion with the group because many people get scared. Really, their intention, they reached their goal. The goal was let's make them scared, because after this night, the next night will be more fatal. Somebody will get killed. This is what they want to tell us. So we were using Signal application to talk because WhatsApp is so vulnerable, and they were actually they hacked they hacked WhatsApp. They hacked also our radio, but Signal was more safe. So we use Signal to talk about what do we do next. Some people, Italian people, get scared. They say, let's stop here. Let's deliver food to Cyprus. Because meanwhile, the Italian government, with government to Cyprus and with the Vatican, they were start planning, okay, let's save our citizens. Let's keep the packs of food aid and let's deliver it directly to Palestinian people. And the Italian minister said, oh, you are sailing for 18 days. Meanwhile, it takes us 2 hours to deliver the food to the Palestinian people. So bring the food in Cyprus and go back to Italy. This was their request. And then I was, what? Do you have to wait for a flotilla to open this channel of this corridor? Why you didn't bring the food before? It's 2 years people starving for because they don't have food. And now you just wake up now telling us to stop the mission because we can deliver food in 2 hours. This is not acceptable. If you want to do that, you can do that, but the mission must go on. 15 people, at least in the Italian delegation, they get really scared because the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Defense, Italian minister, was sending us messages saying the next night Israel will attack with more heavy weapons and maybe someone of you will get killed. So please come back. This was their request. 15 people, there are journalists between them, they get afraid, they stopped, they took from Athens in Greece, that they went back to Italy, and they started releasing interview with different newspapers saying the Mediterranean Sea will be colored with red, will be bloody, because Israel will kill our crew, will kill the Italian people, will kill the flotilla. So that's why we stopped. We are afraid about our life. But in this moment, in the chat, in the Italian chat at least, we say, no, in the same day, more than 100 Palestinian people get killed. We can't be here discussing about risk or not risk. The mission was clear since the beginning. We should keep going. At the end, the majority voted to keep going. And then we, after 2 days, stopping 3 days in Greece, we departed to Gaza. until we reached like 150 mile. Meanwhile, actually, the Italian government, because this attack on our boats, it's like they attacked Italian land because the boats they have Italian flag, they had the Italian flag, Spanish flag, Tunisian flag, and according with the international law, attacking a boat it's like attacking a land. So the Italian government felt the responsibility to send a military ship, navy of Italian navy, to protect the boats because it's mandatory to protect Italian land. So this was happened after we knew that they were sending the Italian navy. We waited one night more to wait for them to reach us, and then they accompany somehow our trip until 150 miles. Until 150 miles from Gaza, the presence of the Italian Navy stopped Israel from attacking because it would be very embarrassing attacking again with the military, Italian military there, and Italian military must defend us. So they didn't want to enter in a conflict. So Israel stopped from bombing us with drones, and they waited until 150 miles from the Gazan coast. And when we get to Gazan coast, like we heard in the radio, first of all, the command of the Italian Navy saying, at this point, we have the order to go back to Italy. The Italian government told me to go back. So we are still in time to host someone of you, a flotilla, to go back. If you are afraid, we can take you in our navy, our ship, and we go back to Italy. Plus, then they said it's recommended to leave the mission because it's so risky. We can't guarantee your safety. So if you want to leave, join us now. No one accepted, of course, because we were very close to Gaza, and the hope to reach Gaza was even more high. After 150 miles from the, like as soon the Italian ship went back, they start shipping back. The Israeli military start talking in the radio 16 frequency, saying, here, this is the Israeli military. We recommend you to do as the Italian ship did, go back to your country. If you don't go back to your country, we will intercept you. And you must stop now and go back. But of course, no one stops because the mission was clear since the beginning. We kept sailing, and like at 8:30 p.m. was dark everywhere, and I had a live video call with the Italian TV. They called me for starting the interview, but at that moment I told them, I'm sorry, I can't talk anymore because we see lights of the Israeli boats coming here, and I have to cancel my interview. And we throw the phones in the sea because was part of the protocol to protect the captains, because we have a lot of information on our phones, pictures, addresses, and also who is the captain. And this is something private and also secret, to keep secret for the Israeli military. We throw the phone and they start the interception. We started at 8:30 until 6:30 in the morning. So they were more than 24 Israeli boats for 42 boats of flotilla. So they take time for them to stop all of us. At the end, we get stopped at 50 miles. The last boat reached like 19 miles. We were saying if we have been only like 5 or 10 boats more, we will have reached Gaza, because they used all the boats they had, and the Palestinian people actually, they were in the beaches waiting for us. They were in the sea, in the beaches, looking at us and sending videos. We are happy to welcome you if you reach Gaza. We didn't reach Gaza, but for the first time, Palestinian people could fish. They fished for the first time, and they say, we didn't get the food you brought us, but thanks to you, because the Navy, Israeli Navy, was focused on stopping us, we were free to fish, and we fished our fish for the first time after years and years. This blockade is illegal. Our mission was and it is legal, humanitarian, and the blockade was illegal since 2009. And this is not Israeli sea, but it's Palestinian sea. Meanwhile, we get the information from the organization that collected all the food, because we collect a lot of food in Italy, in Genoa, in the same place where the workers start stopping the ports. We get the information by the president of Music for Peace organization. He gets a communication from the Israeli government telling him that all the food you have, anyway, many of the food that you have could not even be delivered to Palestinian people. And they say, why? Because you have honey, you have biscuits, you have peanuts butter, and all these products are too luxury for the Palestinian people. This will never be delivered to them. This is crazy. Think they even can't have biscuits, they even can't have honey, because it's luxury for the Palestinian people. And this blockade is going on since 2009. And this is unfair. When the Italian people, citizens, knew about that, they opened their eyes. They said, what has happened? How is possible? Why honey? They cannot have honey. Why cannot have biscuit? That's why people, they were so upset to go then in the strike and to protest. Italian people, they have been a great example. They have been a great example for all the other delegation. Also with the sentence, maybe you heard about it, where they say blocchiamo tutto, let's block everything. Because indeed, in that days when they bombed us, Italian people, they blocked the airports, they blocked train stations, they blocked highways, they blocked the ports, they blocked everything. They even did a strike where Rome, the city of Rome, has 2 million people in Rome marching. In my town, which is not a big town, Torino, had like more than 100,000 people striking. And when I met the mayor after they released us, he told me that they don't remember a moment where the city had so many people striking. And they strike, even people that they vote right party, even the people that they voted for this government went on the strike. Grandparents, grandsons, people that they never struck in their life, but they did for the Palestinian people because it's a humanitarian cause. It's not a political cause, but it's really humanitarian. That's why the city, they were full, and that's why the Italian government was so afraid that called the president of Israel, not Netanyahu, but Herzog, and he told him, please, don't hurt Italian people. Don't hurt Italian people, because they are afraid. They are afraid because the people in the street, they can do something they never happened before. And then the Israeli president told our president, okay, make sure that all the Italian people goes in the same boats. So my boat, for example, we were 10 people, and I was the only Italian passport in the boat, and all the same thing in other boats. And they asked to the Italian government to make sure that the flotilla has like 7 or 8 boats with only Italians. In this reason, to be more soft in the interceptions, but also means to be strong with people with the weak passports, like Tunisian or like Malaysian or like other countries. But the flotilla told her, we answered no, this will never happen because it's not a national organization, but it's international. It's a humanitarian organization, and we don't look at us in terms of passports or not. You can do that, but between us, we are human beings and we protect each other. So we said no to the Israeli government, and we stayed in the same boats until the end. So in the port, when we get in the port, was really strong because we saw somehow what is happening to the Palestinian people. They start holding people from their hair, almost breaking the arms of the people to take them to sit, and to sit in front of a very giant Israeli flag with your head like this, to somehow to of course to humiliate it, but also to make you bow to the Israeli flag. And you have to stay there for 2 hours waiting for the call. In this moment also actually even Greta was They were so bad with her as well. They gave her the flag to hold the flag in her hands. They spit on her, but not only on her, also to many other people. And then they take us for more than 3 hours in the bus to the prison, in the Naga Ksiot prison, which is at the border with Egypt. It's also like for 30 or 40 kilometers from Gaza border. So we were very close to Gaza border. And as soon as I get there, I was so sad because in the wall was written, my name is I am Muhammad, father of Ryan. Remember me, 2023. And I'm sure that was the person that got arrested after 7th October. And this person, I don't know if it's still alive. I don't know what did they do to this person in the prison. I don't know anything about this person. But this person was asking us to remember him. And we remember him because a few weeks ago we saw how many Palestinian people left also this prison in the plastic bag, that without eyes, without part of their body, because Israeli military, they took it and they sell it. They use it in the whole Israeli hospitals. More than 100 people without the cornea and the eyes. And they were, all of them, they had the band. And when the Palestinian authority took out the band, they saw that they didn't have the eyes. So this is what is happening in the Israeli prisons. And I hope Muhammad was not one of them, but like Muhammad, there are a lot of people. We saw that people, for the position of sitting in the prison, they have to cut the leg because the blood was stuck and they cannot walk anymore. They have to cut one leg. We saw like 1,900 Palestinian hostages when they left the prisons, when they make the exchange. We saw in the condition they were. People, they lost 30 kilograms. People, they lost their eyes. People, they lost their arms. People, they lost their arms, their legs. People, they tortured every single day. And we were next to them. We were in the same prison next to them. And we know that they were next to us. In that moment, we wanted to make them feel that we are finally here for them. And we start shouting, "Free Palestine!" Very powerful. All the cells were shouting, "Free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine," to make ourselves heard until the other side of the prison. And the Palestinian people there, also, they will have thought, who are they? Who is screaming? Because the Palestinian people, they can't shout. If they shout, they can get killed. If you say "Free Palestine" in the prison and you are Palestinian, they kill you. Nothing more, nothing less. But we wanted to be sympathized with them. And we shout "Free Palestine," and we shout everything that they use also to sing, to give them sumud, resilience, to give them resistance, and to tell them that we are there for them. I personally choose and decided to not to boycott their food. And as soon they jumped on the boat to intercept us, I said, "Wallah, inshallah, I will never eat anything from them." And for 5 nights, 5 days in the prison, not only me, but I will say like at least 30% of the flotilla, we did a complete fasting from food. So for 5 days, we lost like 5-6 kilograms. But we were happy for that because next to us, only maybe 30 minutes driving by car, we are in Gaza. And we know people that are starving. How can I be here eating, waiting for them to kick me out from the prison? Meanwhile, next to me there are people starving. They don't have food. We will do the same. We will have the same feeling that they have. And also, we were not eating to protest against the illegal arrest. No, it's not arrest. The legal kidnapping, because this is kidnapping. This is like pirates. They can just go in international water and arrest whatever they want. This is illegal. And for this reason, we say, okay, we will not eat. When we get to the prison, the chief of the police called me and asked me to do an interview with me. And he made me a lot of questions about the flotilla, who financed the flotilla. And then I told him, "Do you think Hamas financed the flotilla?" Because in the Italian newspaper, they are really supporting the Israeli narrative. They're just talking all the time that, oh, behind the flotilla there are Hamas, there's Hamas, there's Hamas. And then I told him, do you really think that these people are Hamas or flotilla is financed by Hamas? And he said, no, I don't believe that. We know it's not like this. So if he knows it's like this, but they make sure that the newspaper and the European country especially talks like this. Keep saying that behind the flotilla there is someone of Hamas, which is not true, absurd. There's no evidence, and then he know that there is no evidence, but he know that these sentences helps Israel in the conversation with European politicians, European newspapers. This is the point. Then he asked me if I will be back one day again here, if I will come back with the next flotilla. What is your intention? I told him for now I'm sure that my first goal when I go back to Italy is to make sure that Italian parties, especially leftist parties, the Italian Democratic Party, Green Party, and other parties, to put in their agenda the Palestinian cause. Because for many years, they ignored the topic. They don't want to talk about the topic, but because someone powerful inside the parties was silencing them. Whenever you want to talk about Palestine, anti-Semitic. Whenever you talk about the freedom of Palestine, this topic is off limits. So we must make sure, I will make sure that the parties, leftist parties, will bring in the agenda and the top priority the Palestinian cause. And then he tell me, okay, since that, can you sign this document? Which document? And he gave me this document. We're saying that according with the law of 1952 of immigration, I didn't respect the law, Israeli law, so I entered in Israeli territory against the authorization of Israeli government. If you sign this document, you go back today. So no, I don't sign this document. Why should I sign? This is a lie. I was not going to Israel. You kidnapped me from in international water. My direction, I was going to Gaza, and you stopped me. So why should I say that I was going to Israel, which is not true? Yeah, I know, but you have to sign it. If you sign it, you leave now. Otherwise, you stay in prison. I don't know how long. But I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I will not lie to myself. I will not sign this document. I will stay here until you kick me out, as you brought me here. I don't wanna sign false. It's okay. The same day, they sent me the general consul of Italy. The ambassador sent her, and she came to me, and she asked me, please, to sign this document because we want Italian delegation out from the prison as soon as possible. Your colleagues are already signing. Many Italian people signed, say 70, 80% signed this document. Just missing you and other 10, 13 people. Please sign. Let's go back. There's a flight tomorrow morning. Also, in this case, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to sign it. It's my responsibility. I was not coming here. They stopped me. You have to tell them to kick me out if they want to kick me out. Because actually, Israeli government wants us to get out from the country. Because we were getting a lot of information. We are getting a lot of attention for what's happening in the prison. And this attention for the Italian delegation, for the Sweden delegation, from the Dutch delegation, was bringing troubles for the governments, European governments, but also for Israel. So that's why as soon they are outside, I stopped this crisis with with the European governments, but also people in the streets, they can go home because the streets were full of people because they felt as like we were kidnapped. We don't know what is happening in these prisons. We know Israel is a criminal country, so maybe they are torturing them in the prison. So let's stay in the streets. And the streets, they were full of people every single day. And then our general consulate, I asked her, please, I just have one question for you. And she said, what? I just want to know, how is Italy? How is Italy doing? Are the people in the streets? And she looked at her assistant, and she looked at me and said, I can't say too much, but it's full of people. And I was so happy because this was also part of the goal of the flotilla, to make the people to open their eyes, to go on the street, to reclaim freedom for Palestinian people, but also to tell to the Italian government that now it's enough to keep collaborating with with this criminal country. And then I told her, I'm sorry, but I can't sign this document. I really can't sign this document. This is give to me the responsibility, not to them. So please, no. If they change these words, maybe I can sign. But now this document, I will not sign it. Then she left. I went to sleep. It was like in the night. I was not expecting. I saw the military come to knock the door, and I opened the cell like this, and she was here again. And she said, "Hey, Mr. Amajou, I'm here again. I have another document. And what about this document now? Can you sign this document?" And actually, they changed. They changed part of the sentences that was saying that I know that I have to sign the document to be kicked out, but I want to leave the country now. Was the same document, but still, up small was written that it's my responsibility to enter in the Israeli territory. I said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to sign this. No, I don't. So we were at the end, out of 480 people, we stayed in the prison like 170. Other people signed, but they did good because somebody had the health issue, because the Israeli government, military, they took all the medicines. People that have heart problems, they have diabetes problems, they didn't give them the medicine. They were risking. So these people, they signed. Or like Malaysian people, they signed because Malaysian country doesn't recognize Israel, and maybe would have created them problems. So for them, it's more safe to leave the prisons. So in this case, they did great to do that. And also other countries, other people signed because it was the right thing to do in this case. 170 people, they didn't sign, and they took the war with the legal war until the end, until the court came to the prison, came the judge to the prison to meet us, and he told me, okay, Mr. Amajou, why do you want to sign? That's okay, please make sure to take notes, because I will tell you why I don't sign. And then I explained him that I was in the international water, in a legal mission, humanitarian mission, that even if against illegal blockade, and even if the blockade was legal, we are still authorized to go there because we are just delivering food and medicine. And according with the United Nations, the Article 19 of the sea law tells clearly that if we are bringing food and medicine, even during the blockade, it's authorized to go in the land where there's the war. So even though it was legal, we were supposed to go. But your military stopped us, did this to us. They harassed us. They took us in the prison without our willing. And I will not sign a lie now, because if I sign this lie, at the end you win again. You win in the immunity. You keep winning against everyone, every country, all the institution, and I don't want to give you this too easy. I'm sorry, but I will stay here until the end. On 6th October, the Greek government sent a plane only for us, for the Greek delegation. But because it was only for the Greek delegation, they said we can take everyone. Everybody can fit in it. So in this day, they free almost all of us because politically they didn't want us to be in the prison during the 7th October. Because on the 7th October, they only want to cry for what's happened 7th October, and they don't want to give the chance to the other people, like in Europe, to bring them home about us. Now bring them home, because we are arresting, kidnapping Italian people, bring them home. And in order to get all the narrative to them, because can you believe if all the flotilla was in the prison during the 7th October, and Israel want to celebrate the 7th October, all the municipalities, all the Italian institution, European institution, they will not accept. Italian institution, European institution will not accept because you are arresting our citizens. Our citizens are in your prison. We can't do that. Bring them first, free them first, then we can talk about 7th October. This is exactly what's happened. And this is politically decided by the Israeli government. So on 6th October, we are all free. And since that day, I will say, since I was in the prison like for five long nights, I was starving, I was hungry, and I told myself, really, as soon I go back to Italy, I want to get at least 1 week, 10 days vacation to rest, to get back my kilo, to meditate, to stay at home or somewhere else, because I need some time to me to recover. But actually, as soon as I came to Italy, I told myself, no, the mission must keep going. I can't rest. There's no rest because people are still dying, and people in Italy that are waiting for us to tell them what's happened in the prison. So the day after, I was having like 3 conferences per day. 3 conferences per day. I met a lot of students, a lot of politicians. In 1 month, now it's 1 month, I would say I met like 30,000 people. 30,000 people in this last month. And then they invited me to come to Colombo, to this convention, third convention, as ASEAN Pacific Convention, to talk about flotilla, to talk about Palestine. And I said, yes, I will come here, and these resting days, I will do them in Sri Lanka. That's why I took 5 days vacation after this convention to stay here and to pass my vacation in your country, and that I really felt home. And I thank you so much for welcoming me here, and also to make me rest here, but actually to go back with even more energy, power. And thank you as organization for all the protests you did in Colombo and across Sri Lanka, because we really need people like you, because people like you will make Palestine free, but Sudan free, and all other countries free. Thank you so much.
That was intense. It's emotional sharing, and you made us more. So you made us more emotional, and your courage. All the people from Global Sumud Flotilla, their courage actually strengthens each and every one of us. So I think everybody will have a lot of questions to ask you. So this time we just open the floor for questioning and answering. If anyone wants to question, ask something from Abderrahmane, please go ahead.
Sure.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. Like, there was so much, it was very emotional. And then I just saw the pain in your eyes. And, I just felt that I was also part of it. Every step that you took, because, I've been following each and every move. So,
Thank you so much.
We were watching the boats live streaming, and yes, you have a question.
Thank you for your courage. Just want to know, will this happen again? Another Sumud? Will it happen again? Yeah?
Yeah, yes, of course.
Good.
Good. Yeah. I can't say more because we are still talking and organizing, but it will be something bigger.
Abderrahmane, I'd love for you to share with our Sri Lankan community here, what was it that you were intrigued about doing in Sri Lanka that took you to Kandy? What was it that you went to Kandy to do that you were so inspired about being in Sri Lanka and wanted to do that? I think it'll be interesting for them to know.
Why I went to Kandy? Thank you, Tassi. Oh, normally, when I travel around the world, I don't like to go and stay like a hotel, swimming pool, but I love to travel to see the real people, how the people live, and normally I can see this across the farmers, fishermen. the producers, people that they work the land, they protect the land. For this reason, I decided to go to Kandy, and then from Kandy, I went to the high in the mountain to visit the producers of coffee. I am passionate about coffee. I love coffee. I love coffee plants. I love coffee producers. And I went to see the history of coffee in Sri Lanka. I know that in the past, Sri Lanka was a great country for coffee. And then with a disease that touched the trees I think in 100 years ago, roughly, people, they shifted from coffee to tea. But they were losing a know-how, incredible variety of coffee here. And so I went there. I came only last night back to Combo, but I passed 2-3 nights around the mountain, meeting farmers, buying coffee and also tea. So this will be also the gift for my father loves tea. I will bring him Ceylon tea and made by local producers. And also for myself, a very, very good quality coffee, Arabica from Sri Lanka. So I will remember this moment in every sip that I will have. But you know what? I was impressed in the hotel. We had the convention. I was impressed that a tropical land as Sri Lanka, can have one of the best coffee, and they served me Nescafe coffee. When I saw Nescafe, I told the guy, sorry, this is coffee. This is not coffee. Oh, it's powder coffee. So I'm sorry, I don't have Nescafe. I never had Nescafe. But how can I have Nescafe in the land of coffee? I said, oh, I bring you some coffee. Then he went with the cup and he put the powder coffee inside and gave it to me with hot water, but was not drinkable. It was like full of coffee. So, okay, I was impressed for this because Sri Lanka has a huge future about this field, coffee field, for example. And sometimes this is because I was working for Slow Food International, and I love food, and I also love what is behind food, which are the people, the communities, indigenous people. And when people think that Nescafe it's cool than real coffee. Actually, we are losing our identity, our value. And I saw this not only in Sri Lanka, also many countries in Africa. For example, they have, we call dado, or to give flavor, like a paste, very strong paste that you put in the water and gets melt and give you a lot of flavor in the soap. I don't know how it's called here. But in the past, for example, local people, they were doing it naturally with different spices, different plants. It takes time to do it, but it was something authentic, was something traditional. Also, to preserve traditions is important for our communities. Instead, they prefer just buying something from industry, from France or from US, and put it in the pot. But it's not the same thing. It's like now, instead of making coffee, to grain it, to buy it from here, because I want to support local economy, to support our economy, I buy from Nescafe that make other people richer, but people, they even support Israel. So this case, I think it's not good. Yeah.
Since your initial mission was not successful, unfortunately, what is your future modus operandi? And also, I want to know how effective is this BDS, boycott, divestment, and sanctions? Will it be if we impose that?
I think I didn't hear the last part, maybe with my
BDS.
media.
BDS. How effective it will be?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I think with the power of our pockets, we can change. So even if I think, okay, sometimes you need the government, you need we give the responsibility to other people instead of starting from ourselves. Our belly, our tongue can be controlled, telling ourselves, no, this I will not eat it, this I will not buy it, because my pockets, my money, they give power to other people that they are using their power wrongly. For example, Starbucks, they shut down in many places because people, they start from themselves. I start, but if I start, maybe other person will start. For example, I don't know, Bangladesh, they lost a lot of stores. Thousand people lost their job, but not because, okay, now Starbucks will close. People they have no job anymore, will be a trouble for the country. No, people, they can still work in the coffee field, for example. They can still open other stores themselves. It's not like we have to wait for someone from outside to bring us the idea to open Starbucks here. So my pocket, with my pocket, I can make a change. At least I am somehow, I was saying before, when I see something unjust, I try my action. So this is my action. This is a small thing, but can have huge impact. I think also when we see, for example, McDonald's that decided to support all the Israeli military for the whole military campaign with free food, with Coca-Cola and sandwiches. How can I eat McDonald's? If I buy a sandwich of McDonald's, I know that part of this goes to support the genocide. So it's almost directly. My pocket tells me no. In this case, I will buy something else. Instead of go buy McDonald's, I buy this sandwich here, which was so good. Or I buy, was really good. He told me, say it louder. Was really good, a good sandwich, absolutely. And the coffee was great. I didn't finish yet, it's still here. Cappuccino. Normally Italian people, they never drink cappuccino after 11 a.m. And if they see us drinking coffee after 11 a.m., they say, "What did you become, German?" So I am German today. So it was good. So I think the power of
So what is the next modus operandi? Since the initial mission failed.
the mission
The mission.
of the flotilla. Also, it will take place. We will have a national strike on 28th of November in Rome. And will be the first time that all the delegation, Italian delegation, but will be also Tiago from Brazil, the big important people of the flotilla will join this strike. And there will be a moment where we talk. Actually, we're already talking. We have already different calls, online calls, to plan the next mission. We don't know yet when we can say about it, but it's going to be something really huge, bigger than flotilla, because the mission, even if we hear now that there is a ceasefire, this is not ceasefire. This is not a ceasefire. We are not never been happy about this. We are just happy that finally food can and limited food can enter. But these people are still killing Palestinian people. They kill them every day. Especially Palestine is not free, and the mission flotilla will leave until Palestine will be free, and until we end this blockade, illegal blockade. This is so now we are organizing for departure again. Yeah. Yeah.
This working? Thank you. I just want to say, to say anything always sounds sort of flippant, because what you've gone through and what your colleagues went through is beyond description. I mean, it is very powerful and life-changing. And anything I would say about that would be flippant. But just to say that I'm totally thrilled with, I'm inspired by your dedication. Coming to, we were talking a lot about coffee and so on and so forth. And I think that sometimes we forget the colonial history of coffee in this country. Coffee was not native to this country. It was imposed by the Western imperialism, the British Empire, who wanted to maximize their profits and suck out. And one aspect of this whole conflict is that we often forget the colonial history. People keep using flippant words like post-colonial. There is nothing called post, it is colonial. We are still in colonial, under colonial powers. And all our countries, Palestine, Lebanon, Africa, we're talking the Sudan, we're talking all this, we are under colonial rule. It's not post-colonial. One of the things that impressed me when I visited Palestine many, many years ago in '87 was that every single Palestinian that I met, our delegation met, knew exactly, they had analyzed the situation marvelously. They were not flippant and they said, oh, we're anti-Israel. They said, Israel needs liberation from colonialism. Zionism is a form of colonialism. That there's a need to liberate Israel. And they said the real enemy is symbolized by Washington. The American Empire, we're living in the American Empire, which is now coming to an end. There'll be another empire. Now, what I want to ask you is, when you were incarcerated and when you were being questioned, did you have access to your embassy? I mean, you came from, what's your citizenship?
Italy.
Sorry? Italy. Were you able to meet your Italian ambassador or anybody from, were you allowed that access? And what did Italy, the Italian government, do in order to protect you? Because there is a feeling that all the Western countries and most regimes, whether they be Arab regimes or colonial powers, colonial countries like Germany, France, Italy, and so on, are all a part of that, are rather complicit. Did you get any protection from your official embassy, which is your fundamental right? That is one question. And the second is, how many of your flotilla, the numbers, that people that took part, from which part of the world did they come? I know they came internationally, but did you have anybody from, say, from the Arab world, say from Algeria or from other countries like that, or Syria, Egypt, Qatar, and so on and so forth? Did you have any members in your delegation who came from those countries? And if there were they treated differently to the Western people? Because the Israelis are very, very frightened of publicity and don't want the truth to be told. But there is a nascent racism. Did you ever experience anything that could be perhaps touching on that? That's some of the two questions I would ask. There are many, many more other questions that I would love to ask, but I won't take your time.
What's her name?
Sorry?
What's her name?
Lana.
Lana. Thank you, Mr. Lana. Very, very kind for your questions. And I also totally agree about decolonize our food. Yeah. If that was possible, it's something very clear, important for all the communities. As I was saying, our job was to get back to the traditional seeds even. And for example, like in Senegal is an African country that the French colonizers brought the rice. Senegal produced rice next to the river Senegal, but it's not from there. The rice is not belonging to this land, this area of Africa, and now they have big problem with water. They have a lot of problems with water because rice needs a lot of water, and they had before rice meal, which is another products, and they almost lost this tradition to bring part of the rice for the French colonizers. For the same thing also with the coffee here with the British. I totally agree. And your first question. So we were 44 delegation total. We had people in my boat, for example. I had one person from Algeria with the Algerian passport and one with Moroccan passport. We had people from Senegal. We had people from Tunisia, people from Iran, but with not Iranian passport. It was with Iranian passport. South Africa. So we had people from let's call them weak passports, because Israel doesn't care about Tunisian people. That's why they even bombed in Tunisia, land in sea. When they were parked in the port in Tunisia, they bombed them with drones in Tunisia. And the Tunisian government, instead of saying, "What are you doing to Israel?" pretend that was auto-sabotage. It was like a drones by the flotilla against the flotilla. Because for them it would be so shameful to admit that they were Israel. Because if you say that Israel, what is your goal as the government? You have to react to Israel, because it didn't attack a boat in the international water, but in the national land, in the national water. So was very difficult for Tunisian people to say something. Tunisian people, they were treated differently in the prisons. They were treated differently. Yeah, we can see that because when uh, when uh, when they were moving us from to cell to cell, they know who has the foreign passport, who has a Western passport, and who has one of the countries of African passport, and they're using violence against them. They use violence against them. They use violence against Turkish people. Some Turkish people they broke his arms with they used a lot of violence with them. Some of them they used the gun because they were entering every night, every 2 hours in the middle of the night with 11 soldiers with the dog. They open the cell, jump, sit down on your knee. They count us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 until 13 people in the room in the cell, and then they leave. They just wanna wake us up all the time. Then after 2 hours, they come back again with the gun, like this, down on your knee, and we see how they treat other people. There was a night, no, what during the day, I was in the prison with Tiago, and Tiago was called every 4 hours, 5 hours by the police to interview him, and he came in the cell and said, "Oh guys, I just finished the talk with the policeman, with the chief of the police, and he told me that you can shout Free Palestine, you can shout whatever you want, but nobody has to say Allahu Akbar." Because from cell number 11, there were a group of people, Tunisian, Turkish, Americans, and Dutch. They were singing. They were saying Allahu Akbar. And this for them was act of, they hate Muslim people. They hate this word. And Tiago didn't make in time to tell the people, watch out, don't say Allahu Akbar. They start singing again, Anashid. Start singing again, and they say Allahu Akbar. And then I went in the cell to see outside, and I saw 11 police upset running to the cell number 11. They opened the door, and they arrested all of them, and they took them in the isolation for the whole day, just for this sentence. You can see Free Palestine, you can see from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, but not Allahu Akbar in the prison. That was off limits for them. They could not stand with this word. And in this case, my friend Dutch, he lost sensitivity in his hands. They damaged his nerve of his arm. They used violence against them, and they took them everyone like on the knees with the cuff for like until the evening. And in this case, we saw how the Palestinian people are pushed. They were pushed very, very violently. And we told the Palestinian people, please sign the document so you can leave. Sign the volunteer leaving so you can leave, because we know they will treat you so bad if you stay here. But they say, no, we want to stay here until the end. In this case, even Tunisian people, they didn't sign this document. So I can expect it from people from Western countries because they know somehow they will not use that much violence against them. But still, Palestinian people, they choose not to do that. My embassy representative came two times. The general consulate. She came to visit me 2 times. Other countries didn't have the same. For example, Morocco didn't go to visit no one. United States politically, because the ambassador of United States in Jerusalem, he's so Zionist, and he decided not to visit American citizens until this we figure out after that. After 20 congressmen, a congresswoman signed a letter and sent a letter to Trump telling him, you have to make sure that our citizens are in health in the prisons. In this case, they sent someone to check to the American citizens. Otherwise, for the ambassador of the United States, for him, they can stay in the prison because for him was so bad to try to stop the blockade on Gaza, even from their own citizens. Some ambassadors, Spain, for example, and other ambassadors, they went to visit their citizens, bringing food, bringing cigarettes, bringing chocolate, not with empty hands. Meanwhile, others they didn't care about their citizens at all. Our government was against us and was upset for our mission. Other governments like Colombia with Pedro, like Brazil with Lula, they were so happy for their citizens on the mission. Pedro, for example, as soon the mission was over, he called all the Colombian people to give them a prize, like you represent the heroes of Colombia for going to Palestine. The same thing had been made by Lula in Brazil and other countries. So you can see the countries that support Israel, they were like shy, ashamed, and they didn't care about even supporting their own citizens. Meanwhile, countries who are supporting the Palestinian people, they were so happy for the mission for Flotilla. I don't know if I answered everything. Thank you.
So I asked that question. There is a perception that the Western countries, by and large, the state or the systems are not supported by the average person. You know, there are tremendous, what you call protests and demonstrations, and very powerful demonstrations against the system that is now prevalent, that is causing the problem of Palestine.
It's true.
And I wonder whether there's a difference between that and the Arab nations, and maybe the African and Asian, Sri Lanka and India and so on and so forth. That there is a kind of split in the world, and I'm concerned about that, as to how we can bring about change through pressurizing our own governments.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if I understood better, good. For example, in Spain, the government is so supportive of Palestinian cause, and he recognized Palestine. He stopped all the boats, military boats, going to Israel. Not only Israeli boats, ships, but even American ships going to Israel get stopped by the government. With Italian government is different because our government is supporting Israel, but after the flotilla, they stopped sending every kind of weapons to Israel. They stopped sending even pieces for the jets, flight jets, and some lawyers, they even went to the international court against our government for supporting genocide. That's why they stopped. So our prime minister, the minister of defense, the minister of foreign affairs, and the director of the company that produced weapons are now under investigation by the international court. Arab countries, for example, I would say they don't represent their people because they are not democracies. There is no Arab democracy. All dictatorships are all managed by people that they are with Israel. Except Lebanon. But for example, my own country of origin, for example, Morocco is supporting Israel as a government. People are in the streets and they are hidden by the police. You should not protest against Israel, but still, million people go in the streets. But the government is with Israel because if I stay with Israel, United States, they will recognize the Sahara of Morocco. And indeed, it was recognized officially by United Nations only last week as South Sahara, as Moroccan land. The same thing for Egypt. Egypt, which is another country that doesn't do anything without the authorization of Israel. Like this, also the Emirates, that they are supporting genocide in Sudan, and they are shaking hands to Netanyahu during the genocide. So I think if we follow the Arab people, citizens, of course, Palestine will be free already. When we say free Palestine, actually we say free ourselves from our government first, because our government are supporting Israel. And if we had all just Arab countries as the democracies, and they really are doing the willing of the citizens, I think Palestine will be free since ever, because you just stop selling oil to Israel or vegetables, Israel get in crisis. I'm happy because they were saying that this mission and also the protests, they will not bring a change. Actually, they bring a big change. This I also talk to my community, for example, in Italy. Sometimes you hear them saying, oh, I don't go to strike because anyway nothing will change. Politicians, they will not hear us. No, they hear us. They really will make a change. Indeed, in July, for the first time, European Commission came with 9 sanctions against Israel. They froze bank account to many people of settlers. They froze the agreement with Israel. With this agreement, every year brings 42 billion euro in import-export with Israel. Now it's frozen. They stopped commercializing weapons officially. So nine sanctions that they came thanks to people striking in the streets. Otherwise, this will never reach it. So I think sometimes we think we are powerless, but we are powerful. Every one of us. Everyone, even though if you see like, oh, we are just 50 people or 100 people in Colombo striking, it seems like so sad, but believe me, we are making still a change.
In your opinion, why are the Arab countries have become sycophants of these US and Israel states?
Why?
Sycophants. But they are supporting them.
Oh, because the United States can decide who has to lead a country since last, I will say, 50 years. We don't like Gaddafi, bye-bye Gaddafi. We don't like Saddam Hussein, bye-bye Saddam Hussein. They know this. Whenever Israel or United States decide, okay, this president is friendly, let's leave him there. For example, even with the Taliban. We need Taliban against Russia. Yours. We like Taliban. We give them weapons. Now we don't like it anymore. Bye bye. This happened like a game. I like a game. And what we can do? Oh, let's use the excuse of women, freedom of women in Afghanistan. We have to go to save. They don't care about the women at all. They don't care because in many friendly countries with the US, it's happening worse. Saudi Arabia, for example. It's not like the woman in Saudi Arabia is a free woman. No, but there, the oil and the support to United States helps to keep the position. But if US tomorrow that says, okay, we don't like the president of Tunisia, we want him out, they can do it. Now they are doing it with Venezuela. So all these countries, because they are not democracies, they know they are fragile and they have to support the agenda of the imperator. That's why.
Thank you so much, Abderrahmane. Thank you so much for the audience. We can have 2 more questions, and after that, we'll have a wrap up.
Good evening. I'm so glad I met and saw you personally. You have the inspiration to go against such mighty forces. You sacrifice your life for this. When there are thousands and thousands of Palestinians getting slaughtered out there, you went personally and didn't give up. How many of us will do that? Not many. But you are a great man. So, what is going to happen at the moment where the Palestinians going to live? How are they going to make that place up? That's what I love to know. Thank you.
How to rebuild. If we were living in a fair world where we have real politicians, Israel has to rebuild it, has to pay for the rebuild. This is what they are saying. European Commission and United States with Russia and Ukraine. They are saying Russia destroyed Ukraine. Russia has to rebuild Ukraine. This is what they're saying. The same thing. Let's talk about this. Israel has to pay the bill to rebuild Palestine. So, in my opinion, now we have to make sure that first of all, Palestine must be recognized officially as a country from also other powerful countries. Today, I was passing close to. I went for a coffee, and then next to this coffee, I saw Palestinian embassy, and I was amazed. Oh wow! Palestinian embassy. Let me see. I rang the bell. I want to see if there is some Palestinian person inside. And they came 2 military from Sri Lanka's military. They opened the door, and I asked them if there is someone Palestinian. They said, "I'm sorry, there is no one there is no one here. But I was happy to see state of Palestine. This must be for all the countries. In Italy is not recognized as a country, Palestine yet. In Germany, it's not recognized. In many important countries, it's not recognized. As soon as you recognize Palestine, at this point, the relationship changed a lot. Changed a lot the relationship because Israel is free to do whatever they want because by United States, by other important countries, Japan, Palestine is not existing. It's just people, organized people trying to fight back against Israel. But if was recognized, for example, by Italy, Italian government will have approach directly with the Palestinians. They must start commercializing directly with Palestine. But for now, this is not happening with many countries. And so I think one of the most important goals next, it's at least from my side, is to make sure that Italian government brings in the agenda to recognize Palestine and stops for the next year selling any kind of weapons to Israel and even sanction Israel. We have to sanction Israel. Israel has to be sanctioned for all the crimes committed and also to take responsibility in front of the international court to say that if Netanyahu, Ben Gvir come to Italy, they will arrest him. For now, this is not happening. They say, our government say, if they come to Italy, they are welcome to come to Italy. Just won the election, Mamdani in New York, and I liked when he said that. He said he's not welcome anymore here. If he comes here, the police of New York will go to take him. And Israel, so I listened to some podcasts in Israel. They are saying we are happy for Mamdani to have won the election because in this case, Jewish people, they will escape from New York because they are not safe there anymore, and they will be safe in Israel. But this is not true at all. Big parts of the Jewish community, they voted for Mamdani. And when I was in the flotilla, I had also on my Instagram, there is a video I put there. When I was coming to the flotilla in the middle of the sea, I received a message from my Jewish friend from New York crying, saying, I'm so afraid because you are going to flotilla, because Israel is so dangerous. I'm so happy for all the team, for the mission, what we are doing. And she went to tell her mother. There is a community next to Chicago, and they did a prayer with the rabbi for the flotilla to be safe, to reach Gaza. And I was happy to have the support from the Jewish community because in this synagogue, I worked with them for 3 months when I was in the US in Chicago. So I get to know them. They are really amazing people. And of course, even Israel in these last 40 years tried to put in our mind that if you criticize Israel, you are anti-Semite. Now it's not anymore like this. Now you can say that Israel is a criminal country, but still, Jewish are my friends, my brothers, my sister, and Jewish communities, the majority of the Jewish community are not supporting Israel at all, especially in the United States. Thank you so much.
So the floor is open for one more question. You had a question, right? You wanted to ask? So, yes, yeah. So
Thank you for sharing your experience and being here and time. As you kind of pointed out when you were talking, a lot of the warfare is for the narrative. So therefore, it's kind of psychological in different people's minds. And as you said, many of the reasons why countries support the US is because of the diplomatic benefits they get. Same reason I think that this government of ours, even though we're democratic and it is a popular government, also supports the US. At the same time, I noticed that a lot of people also support Israel, also because of the economic benefit. I think in my office today also, someone was telling how his neighbor and son are both leaving for Israel. because they're offering $1,000, $2,000 a month for relatively menial labor, and that sort of salary is unachievable here. And yeah, and so it's the challenge is with the narrative in people's minds, and I just want to know what are the sort of subversive actions that people are taking to kind of change the narrative, like in Europe against this idea that, okay, yes, there is again, like you said, it's easy to tune out. And I mean, we're also sort of guilty to that to a certain extent. But then there is also people who have permanently tuned out, which is another problem in itself, because then it becomes a losing battle. So I just want to know what kind of actions you all take there to kind of prevent that, to kind of get people who have turned out back on, and as well as people who never tuned in to kind of tune in. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What I can say, the plan Trump that brings a not real peace, absolutely. Actually, it has a goal, which is to turn off the voices, to make people to go back in their houses thinking that now the situation is better. And the narrative is, oh, finally we reached peace. You wanted peace. Trump brought peace. And consequently, even the newspaper, they stopped talking about Palestine. But this is happening for like since 48. All the time when we see the massacre, we go on the streets, and then we go back in our homes and we stop talking for Palestine until the next catastrophe. What I think for myself, first of all, because I did also this mistake since the last years, which when we see the absence of bombs doesn't mean we reach the trust and freedom for Palestinian people. So it's important to keep talking about Palestine. This is the only message I can tell about this. Never stop talking about Palestine and Palestinian people, and organize about it. Like, I decide to boycott some products, I can keep sharing and talking to people. I don't buy this product for this reason, because they work. For example, Reebok. I think Reebok, ASICS, two different brands of sports brands, this year they refused to sponsor Israeli teams of football, volleyball, basketball, because they told them, you are under genocide, and I see that when I support you with my brand, I lose customers. So it works, boycotting. And also to pay attention, because Israel now is working a lot with the narrative, and they are paying a lot YouTube. Now YouTube is also almost supporting narrative of Israel. Google get last month $45 million to support the narrative of Israel. We know also many newspapers are supporting Israel. But the social media, even there, if you see sometimes when you tag Gaza or you write Palestine, your post doesn't reach a lot of people. So there is an algorithm working on that. But still, social media, people, they can change the narrative. They keep changing the narrative. Because if we had this change so far, just because I will say thanks to Instagram, Facebook, what is happening. Because we saw what's happening. We saw from journalists in Gaza, from, of course, the journalists of Al Jazeera as well, and sharing on our screens and our phones what is happening there. This makes us to stick for justice, for freedom, for the Palestinian people. We have to make sure that we keep talking and keep organizing, because when I was in the US to learn the strategy of community organizing of Saul Alinsky in Chicago, Alinsky was saying that to make a change, you need to organize people and organize money to get power. But not power as the power to lead, but power of changing things. So we have to keep organizing ourselves and growing ourselves as groups, and also organizing money, because you need money to organize sometimes event, a moment like this, to rent microphones or to do something bigger, bigger, bigger. And we have to organize even people with money, because if we are collective, a huge collective, that choose to not to buy anymore from kind of store, and we go to this owner, tell him, look, you are losing 3,000, 4,000 potential customers because you are selling these products. You have to change it, come on our side, bring another alternative, and we will keep buying from you. Somehow you change also the people who has money power in this case. So I think we have to keep organizing ourselves and keep in communication, because Palestine is not yet free. But when we talk about Palestine, actually we are talking about the human rights in Sri Lanka. We are talking about access of job in Sri Lanka, health. Palestine is bringing us many values that we are using our daily life. It's not only Palestine, but the idea to be together here keeps us focused on the social justice in general. Yeah, that's I will say. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Abderrahmane, and thank you for being here. It was very valuable for us to know your experience. And I would personally thank Aunt Tassie for organizing this program for us. We have here so we can sit and listen and support Palestine. So as Abderrahmane says, Palestine is not yet free. Congo, Sudan, Rwanda, all these countries, they all need our support. So don't stop talking about them, keep talking about them, boycott, do what is possible from your end. That has an effect. So with that note, we say free Palestine, and thank you so very much for being here. Thank you so much.